good vibe here, and I'm still laughing. But guys, you're welcome back to another week on the podcast, and I'm really excited today because I have the lovely Abigail with me.
Hi.
What's up, my friend? How you doing?
I'm good. I am great.
I mean, like, this energy is coming from you right now because I was so nervous, but now.
Do I make you nervous?
No.
Okay. Thanks.
But I'm so excited and I'm glad that you said yes to being here and just to come on here, work purple with me, and then just like spread some purple love everywhere.
Yeah, that's what we do.
But can you just please introduce yourself to the people? Tell them a little bit about yourself. Who is Abigail Courtney? I love your second name, by the way. It sounds so British.
Oh, yeah. I could actually introduce myself and tell you about that name.
Oh, wow. I'm just going to find your mom later. Let's do that.
Oh, yeah. She loves this story. She can be for hours. My goodness.
Okay, thank you for giving me the heads up. I know what to do next time I see Mama.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Yay. This is so exciting. Big fan.
Yeah.
This is great. I'm Abigail. Last name Spencer, full name Courtney, and that was my middle name. That was such a miss.
Yeah.
But essentially, I'm from Jamaica. I was born and raised there. I've been in Dubai for 7 years. The name Abigail is Hebrew. It means Father's joy.
Let's
go.
And
I pray to be His joy. Many times I'm a menace to His peace. But you know, what is a woman if she doesn't have hobbies?
I know. We need spice.
Exactly.
And we are the spice.
Yeah,
Come
we're
on.
like multifaceted, multi-talented. Like, it's just a fun, it's never a boring time for that man. Bless his heart. The name Courtney, my aunt gave that name. So my mom has a lot of siblings. I can't give you the accurate number. This aunt is the youngest. And because like everyone had babies while she was still in high school, or she was like really young, she's like, I'm just name all your kids.
Yeah, just name all the kids.
Yeah, she gave my brother's middle name and she gave my middle name. And when I was 21, my mother finally told me behind it, I was born in 2000. I'm a baby.
Oh my God.
This is bad for my CV. It's okay. And Friends was the most popular show at the time. Mm-hmm. And of course, Courtney Cox played Monica.
Oh my God.
My aunt was like, you're going to be Courtney.
Yeah, you can tell your aunt is a little bit of like a millennial, but then some kind of vibe is there.
She's the cool one, you know? She's the one like, you know, if there's certain secrets like I didn't want to my mom, I go like, yo, like.
We all need that kind of aunt.
We do.
We do. Because your mom, her heart needs to still be in place. Like you need to leave the woman alone.
I hope that story is accurate. If I sell it wrong, just make it the true story now. Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do, like for work, and also like any other extracurricular activities? What makes the dough?
Yes. What keeps me financially afloat? I am a public relations executive.
Let's go PR.
So, yeah, that's what we do. That's what I studied. I got into it by accident. I was going to study law. Thankfully, the Lord delivered me.
My mind just saw you as a lawyer. That's so weird.
It's depressing. No offense to lawyers. I think you guys are great, but it's not for me.
We love you guys.
Yeah. Then I studied psychology for a year, and I realized I was more interested in learning self-diagnosing myself rather than actually learning psychology. So when I was here, a great friend at the time, she informed me, you know, you could do journalism or you could do like a mix. And so I found this course in my university, and I'm so happy I found it, where I got to study advertising, public relations, and marketing, and got a job first in social media, then in events, and now I'm in public relations.
I love that. I feel like I'm sitting next to my other self.
Yeah.
But that's so beautiful because I also got into journalism by mistake.
No way.
Lord.
I didn't know this.
I mean, like, I was going to study business.
Ooh.
Like, I could see myself in whatever that was in.
The thing is, you're wearing a blazer now. I kind of get the vibe.
I know, like, I could go for the role, but then, So I hated journalism school. Like, first and second year, she hated it. But then, for some reason, I got a mic now, so the Lord is good.
Right?
Anyways. But yeah, it's just so amazing sometimes how we can start off from something else and then we end up somewhere else. But I feel like it's the Lord's plan.
It really is.
And usually it's like you want something, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. Mm-hmm. You know, it could be that God has something else for you. So I really just wanted to talk a little bit about, like, I think we've been talking a little bit more about like rest and Sabbath and all these things for the young adult. Let me put it like that, for the young people. Because we're in our 20s. Like, I think the whole world knows the ages by now, but we're in our 20s. And it's kind of hard navigating work and resting properly for you to be able to show up in the spaces that you need to be able to show up in. Mm-hmm. So, like, this is a question someone asked me one time. She was like, what does rest look like to courage? Ooh. So I want to ask you, like, what does rest or Sabbath? I know sometimes the church community put those two words together, but then we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
Like, what does it look like to you, Abigail?
Rest for Abigail honestly looks like not being in one place. I have a very active mind, and I really, because of the nature of my work, I'm constantly on the phone. I'm doing reports. I'm messaging people. I'm preparing documents.
Yeah.
I'm running around at events, and I need my attention to be off a screen. I need to be with the people that I love and who love me.
That's good.
I need to be outside, which is not always possible, especially with this desert we live in.
We're in the desert.
The literal
We're practicing
desert.
like Jesus.
Oh
Anyways.
gosh, it's giving, what's his name, John in the wilderness. But I don't eat locusts. I love honey though. But yeah, it's being with my people. It's being with my parents, my lovely family. And it's just honestly maybe doing stuff that maybe I don't always do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but music is usually involved and not always eating. But I'm only saying that because like the culture of the city, like it's so surrounded by food. I just want to
There
go
are restaurants
somewhere.
like in every nook and cranny.
Right?
Everywhere.
Like,
I'm
can
like,
I
I'm gonna get
breathe?
into food business. Lord, just bless me, Jesus.
Exactly.
But then
for it.
healthy food. I'll try.
Food.
So and I love that you gave those like you listed out those things, because like I was saying how Sabbath and rest are very, very different.
Yes.
And actually, because Sabbath in its origin, like from the Bible, it's actually talking about you not forsaking the assembly of the saints, going to church, actually spending time with Jesus, or being in your quiet time reading and just doing things that draw you closer to the Father. That is originally Sabbath. But I know that in the church community sometimes we just squeeze rest and Sabbath together.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I went to church, so I've done my rest for today. I mean, like,
When you served at church like 12 hours straight.
Exactly.
No exaggeration.
I'm telling you.
Where's the rest?
So, like, I really wanted to, like, put those two words together, but then apart at the same time. Because they have many similarities, but at the same time, they're very different.
Yes.
Like, you talking about rest, for me, like, when I rest, like, to be doing my hobbies or spending quiet time, which I really love to do. Those are some of the things that rejuvenate me. Then I go and, Sabbath, and I spend time with God and all these things. So, like, if we can put those two apart, but then together, we can actually, apart and together. But like messing someone's brain right now. But then like, it will actually help you to be able to show up in the spaces that you need to be able to show up in.
That is true.
So let's just talk a little bit about that. Like you doing all those things when like, that's what rest looks like to you. How does it help you to show up in the spaces that you show up in? Maybe career, maybe in your friendships, in your relationships, something with your siblings or your family. I realize when I'm TP, me and my mom, we don't go well.
Really?
Like when she ain't sleeping, mama talking, everything going on.
I was with some friends that, like literally last night, and somebody was talking. I was like, everything just like it's like it got to me like pling-kum, pling-kum,
Exactly.
Nothing stayed.
Nothing stays. Yeah.
Well, I think I'll jump into the other part that I didn't put in my introduction, which is showing up for church. And as you were talking, like immediately, like I got reminded. There are many, so I serve in the worship team. I'm a worship leader at our church that we attend. And we love home church. And Courage serves as well. It is always a great chaotic time.
I know.
Pray for our tech team. And it's a lot of work. It's showing up early in the morning. It's leaving late in the afternoons. Hopefully early afternoons, but it always extends. And the funny thing is I'm doing much less than I used to.
Yeah.
It's still a lot of effort because I've incorporated, more work. And really how rest helps me show up is to, first of all, see the difference between my rest and my Sabbath time for God.
That's
and
good.
I know a lot of people won't agree, but it's very personal to me. My Sabbath is going to church, whether attending or serving, because I really need that time and space to be with people and then to go to my small huddle and to be with God. I don't know. It's just how I'm wired.
Yeah.
I know that I need my time with God. I need to be deliberate with it.
Yeah.
But I also really need to talk to people who can hold me accountable and get me out of my head. So I can expel that and then I can go like, hey, God, like... Thank you for the people that you've given me, and let me do this. There are many Sundays where when I'm not serving, I'm not leading on stage, I'm not serving in the ministry, where I'm at home, and I think I'm resting. And I will not lie to you, it's ruined my week every single time because I feel lazy, I feel worn out for no reason, and I spent the whole day maybe just moving around slowly and sleeping. It's because my mind hasn't been aligned with my Creator. I haven't like spent
Let's
time with my
go.
Father. I haven't been with His people. I haven't like heard His word to refresh me. My body is at rest, but my mind is scrambled. And Mondays when I haven't taken that Sabbath time are just horrendous. Like I'm just begging, like, God, just let me go home. I can't do this. So yeah, it helps me show up there. It helps me show up in my friendships and relationships where I get to know myself and grounded in myself, so that when I'm with people that I love and I want to care for, I get to focus. I get to pour into them.
I love that.
Yeah, and to be poured into as well, because there is so much where if I don't process it by myself and rest well, whether that's in God or in other areas, it's just festering and it like puddles up and it's just but I want to, my prayer to God in this season, like for a long time has been, I want to be present with those that I love and those who love me. For my previous prayer before that was, God, let me be someone who can be loved. And He's given me that, He's shown me that. And now I want to be present and to love them back.
Yeah.
So that's where it helps me show up with work. I just do what I got to do.
I really wasn't expecting that. I'm telling you.
Listen, I like my job. I prayed for it. I give God thanks for it.
We just do what we gotta do.
I just do what I got. I'm just like, it's not giving joy, but it's what it has to be.
Paying the bills. I mean,
It's paying the
I
bills.
gotta pay rent. I
Right.
gotta pay rent.
I gotta live some. I gotta eat. You know what I mean? Have you ever seen those threads or those tweets where they're like, "Why do you want to be employed?" Like, I'm not a fan of poverty. I like having food and paying rent.
I saw this thing like this week. They were like, stop looking at people who say they work for money like they're some bad people. No, you work for money. Like you ain't getting paid. You wouldn't be there. Like, we love you, Lord. We go to work. We will do all these beautiful things. We will show up and we will be the salt and the light in the whatever.
Period.
But thank you for getting paid.
Please.
Anyways.
Oh, God. Love a dynamic
there's something that I feel like you've kept repeating, and I think it's just something that I should note. You said, I want to spend, what is it, spend time, but, be with the people that I love and who love me back.
Yes.
Can you just do something about that? Tell me more about that.
Mix it, stir it, slice it, dice it.
Whatever it is. Because,
Ooh.
I feel like there is so much to that statement, because sometimes you might be spending time with people you like, but they don't like you back. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Because sometimes I be like, am I crazy? But then I heard Jackie Hill Perry say the same thing last week, and I was like, okay, I ain't crazy. I'm okay. Like, there are some spaces that I'm just genuinely bored in.
Yes.
And we are Christians. And I'm confused. I'm like, Lord, what's going on? And it's not like bored, but it's like my spirit doesn't really align, even though I feel like my spirit should align, even though I feel like I should be enjoying this space because we have something at the center.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I still feel like it's not pouring into me. Sometimes it's even draining me.
But that's, sorry, side tangent. One day I'm going to get Jackie Hill Perry's length of locks, and I want you to support me in that. Thank you. I may be delusional, but it's okay.
Do it.
Anyways, I just thought of it like we have a father, and we're all essentially siblings, brothers and sisters in Christ.
We are.
But the thing is, anybody with siblings can tell you we can get along, but like it's not always a fruitful time.
Yeah.
And we're not the same. And what I think the world needs to hear, and Christians need to be reminded of, is that we are not a monolith. Ooh. We have one purpose. Ooh. We have one Father. We have one kingdom that, we're hoping that He builds, and we get to be a part of. Well, He's definitely building. We're just hoping to be a part of it. But we're not like one thing. Like you get saved and you don't get put in the Christian box. Done. God has designed our personalities dynamically for a reason. It's how He's given us gifts to serve Him, to glorify Him. It's shown in how He speaks to us differently, some through dreams, some through songs, some through... The Word is always the one that speaks to us chiefly. But it's how He loves us. It's how He's framed us in His image. Yeah. And I know what you mean. You sit with these people and you're like, okay, but entering this gate with thanksgiving. I was glad when they said unto me, let's go into the house of the Lord. And then I'm sitting in the house of the Lord. I'm like, God, I don't like your people.
I ain't gonna be putting my dirt outside.
but it's normal, and I think it's so healthy. It encourages me that, like, God, I don't need to be in a box. Exactly. I can enjoy time with people, but it's okay if they're not like my friend group, my solid, like, these are my people. Like, these are your people.
Yeah.
And because I'm your people too, God, I'm going to be with your people and we go do what we need to do for you. But like, if I need a shoulder to cry on, if I need somebody to laugh with, at least I know, okay, I can find my friends.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it, like that prayer that you said you made, I think we all need to make that prayer. Like, I always encourage people, pray for friends, and also pray that you can be a good friend to other people, because it's not always one-sided. It's a two, two of you gotta agree. Two of you, if you don't agree, it ain't working. Like, we ain't coming together. But it's very important that, you make that prayer and also show up in your full self. And like, in times where I have those thoughts, like, to be honest, I have to talk to someone about it. I'm like, why do I feel this way? Like, and it is not necessarily a therapist. Like, you need to have friends that you can actually talk about those things with.
Yes.
So I just think, like you said, giving people the space to show up as they are, and also knowing that you cannot put people in a box the same way you cannot put God in a box. He's made us all different, all unique, and in all this, like, we're all really different. And sometimes I feel like we have so many disagreements because we're trying to make people like us.
Yes.
You can't, like, even sometimes where I'm like, this friend should be this to me because I'm this to them.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it ain't gonna work like that, because they are not you and you are not them.
Exactly. Yeah.
What do you bring to the table? They don't. They do something unique that you can never do. And you also do something that they can never do. And the two of you can, complete each other. Like, we're not talking about marriage here, but then you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
I'm not prepared for that one.
But yeah, so I really wanted us to really talk about how rest looks like, and how, like, because I really feel like when we rest in the Lord, because it's not only about like rest. I think sometimes that's how we just like go, like, we might go off topic with it. Because it's like, let me do all of these other things without God in it. And then sometimes it's like, let me do too much of this God thing, and then without these other things.
Yeah.
I feel like there is supposed to be a good balance of it.
Yeah.
It's like...
'Cause otherwise it's feeling legalistic.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite word these days.
Use it.
Yeah.
Use it.
Thank you.
So like, I just feel like there should be a balance to it, like in every other area of our lives, because it's the same way as I was thinking the other day. I was like, when people, like, maybe example, you get a new job and then you idolize that job so much, it takes you away from the house of God. It takes you away from the presence of God. To be honest, God might strip it away from you and turn your eyes back to Him. That's why there's just something I've been praying about, because I'm still working on it. I'm like, Lord, I want to have balance in my life.
Right.
I don't want to love my job more than you, and I don't want to do too much and then forget about all these other areas, like my family, my friends, and all these things that you have also given me as a ministry. So it's like finding balance in all of these things, which might be hard, but I think it's we can try. Effort.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of effort, right?
Effort, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, just tell me how that looks like for you, like finding balance.
Whew. It sounds really cheesy. I just realized there's a lot of pineapples behind you.
I'm a pineapple woman.
I don't know if that's like in the shot, but that would be great. For me, it sounds really cheesy, and I know like it's become a joke amongst my friends, but my calendar is my best asset on this earthly plane. When I started like filling in that Google Calendar with the colors and like everything, it was so important to me. I had a very bad trait where I was very forgetful. I have lost an abundance of important things: wallets, phones, cards, and it was a point of like a lot of insecurity and like sadness in me, where I felt really useless. I felt like how am I ever going to function? How am I going to be a trustworthy person? I wasn't a woman of my word. And I just felt like I was hurting so many people. I can be real hard on myself. I'd had friends who like have had to pull me to the side, like literally take my shoes. Like, you need to stop being so hard on yourself. But then I'll turn to him, I'm like, but there's a lot of things I need to work on. And I think it's a bit of a side tangent, but I think what God is really walking me into now is like, I need you to really see my grace for you and how to actually accept it and to give it. To find the balance that He's teaching me now is like, accept that there are things you need to work on, but I am the judge. You don't need to spend time judging yourself, because I'm a bad judge as well. They show me you are inaccurate in my judgments, especially of myself and of other people. But when it comes to, he's really shown me how to take command of the schedule. He's a master of time, but he's like, you can have some authority over your time. So say no to things. Say yes to some things. There are some things where I would have immediately said no. I was like, actually, I need you to be here now. So say no, say yes to it. You're one of your word. If it cannot work out, communicate efficiently and give a lot of time for communication.
Yeah.
And if you don't get the communication right, learn how to apologize tastefully without making yourself a victim.
That's good.
Which bit of a conversation for a lot of people, how that looks and like what that means. Maybe not the best wording, but that's my truth. And definitely, like I said, being present. Like if I said I'm gonna be there, I am going to be there.
Yeah.
Not piece of me.
Yeah.
If I say I'm not gonna be there, I need to learn how to not be there, and to be where I need to be. And yeah,
And I love that. And I think you said some things which I really want us to just like put a pin on it a little bit, because I think it's very important for young people nowadays, because I feel like we are overstimulated, like in every way possible, with our phones, everywhere, even at work. I feel like someone was making my eyes twirl the other day.
Really?
Like they kept moving. I was like, just sit down.
I have a coworker like that.
Oh my God. I was like, you're making my, just sit down.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like it's in everything. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And we just live in a fast paced world. It doesn't matter where you live, unless you're in the hill or maybe somewhere in Georgia. I don't know. But then unless it's really, really quiet in that village where you are, it is a very overstimulated world we live in right now. So like just taking control of your time. It's not, like you said, God is the master of time. So it's not like I am in full control of all of it. Like I said, I always make plans. Like I have a schedule. To be honest, I do my schedule like a month before the month.
Love it.
Like if you're not there, sorry, next month, let's do it next month. So like I do it like that, but then I still have the prayer of like, Lord, do whatever you will. It's still your time. Like if you want to do interruptions here and there, it's still like I'm open to all of that, because how then does he do some unimaginable things if we don't give him the space to do it?
Precisely.
And also how you talked about how we're being hard on ourselves. Now, that is the one I really want us to really, like, put the pin on it.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's go to therapy.
Dang.
But I just think, like, to be honest, we are doing amazing things, but then we don't really see it sometimes. And it's just really good when you can have community that can look into you and tell you, this is what I see in you, even if you don't see it. It's like the Bible says, like, the word of God is our mirror. As we look into it, we become it. It's the same way with our community. Our community is a mirror to us. I see some things in you that you probably don't see in yourself, and vice versa.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like, I see a lot of things.
We're going to talk about that later. I can't tell the people. They don't need to know that. Good things.
But yeah, so like even just us accepting God's grace and accepting God's love. Like I've been a Christian for all my life, and then you get to a point where you really get to know Jesus Christ. But then, like really receiving God's love. That's why I have a devotional on it, because it was something that was so hard for me to do, because I found out that it was very hard for me to even accept the fact that he loves me, he values me. Like it's not in a selfish way. I think you need to know that for you to be able to communicate it with people.
Yes. You can't preach what you've never believed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I know we really mistake dying to self a lot.
Yeah.
In this day and age of Christianity, but then I really think that if you don't know who you are in Christ, you will be full of insecurities. You will lose sight of your identity. It will shut everything that God was even creating you for.
Yeah.
So just like a little bit of sprinkle on that. How does you accepting God's grace look like for you? Just a little bit.
It's so ironic. So this happened last night in our small group, and it's not so small anymore. You've been there. I grew up in a small church that was smaller than this small group.
Wow.
So yeah, we're sorting it. Don't worry. God is leading us in how to navigate that. But I was there last night, and we're on a topic that is not my favorite topic.
I know.
Yeah, it's not. We don't have to go into it, but like the content and just I and also the size as well. It sometimes gets like into its intimate conversations. I'm like, I don't know the person next to me to fully, discuss it. And it's to no fault of everyone, because I mean, there's just things that won't be perfect for everybody in church. And I was sitting there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm being such a bad example of like, a person who loves God and, is technically like, should be setting an example. So I did something that I probably have never done in my Christian life. I took out a notebook and a pen to take notes.
Oh, wow.
Write them down.
Let's go.
I mean, I've never done my Christian life in church. I mean, I'm a journaler.
Yeah.
But in church, no, because my handwriting isn't that great, and I find it distracting. I'm a phone notes person, and I had to like tell a friend of mine who was leading one time, like, I promise I'm not texting anybody. I'm taking my notes, because I need to be able to read it later. Yeah. And I took it up, and I scribbled a bit, and it's like I felt like the Holy Spirit looked at me like a cousin, like, what are you doing?
Like a cousin.
Yeah, and I was like, being a good Christian is like, no, put that up. So I just like put it down. What was the question?
How does it look like for you? Like receiving grace and stuff like that.
So for me, like that's where I felt like I was guilty for a minute.
Yeah.
For a long time, and he was just like, Abigail, just chill. Like
I love that you're saying this.
Literally, he's just like, I walk with you, I talk with you. Sometimes you're stubborn and a little stupid, and you like, I'll be walking and you'll go over there like to look at trees and touch something you shouldn't, and I'll just grab you by the collar, like, come back. And that's how like God's grace is to me, and that's how I've learned to do it with other people. Of course, with the words that He gives me. God is like, you mess up so much. If anybody, you know what it's like to mess up, and you know what it's like to be in that place of shame and guilt. Yeah. I need you to love people and I need you to transfer my love and not transfer shame and guilt.
That's beautiful.
So like when I'm sitting there in that smog and I felt that shame and guilt, He's like, listen, we're not going there. Yeah. You know better. Sometimes with God, when He teaches you something and you've learned it, when you're doing it again, He's going to be like, you know better. Yeah. No baby talk. Get up and like literally take up your bed and walk, move. So like with people around me, like when I give them grace, it's, like the first few times it's like, hey, we're not getting stuck in that mindset. Yeah. We're not going to sit here and mope. We're not going to sit here and self-destruct. That we are going to get together and move. And I've learned how to do that gracefully, because not everyone is a get up and move type. Sometimes you need to sit in the sorrow
and sit with them.
Sit in it. I've learned how to sit in it. God had to teach me how to sit with Him first, and then I can sit with other people. Beautiful. And then at some point, when it's time to go, I'm like, okay, we've sat for long enough. We've cried our tears. Get up. You can walk and cry at the same time. Yeah. My favorite phrase I know is walk and talk.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Yeah. I love what you were saying. And when you started it off, I felt like you were going to the area of like, I felt guilt and shame that I'm not doing this. And then I tried to do it. And the Holy Spirit was like, this is not the way the two of us relate.
Right.
Like, you discuss put it down. Like, but I think that's so real. And it's like something that I watched yesterday.
Really?
And it was just a good reminder for me. And I think for every Christian, your Christian walk doesn't have to look the same as anybody else.
Honestly.
Like, it's your thing.
Yeah.
Do whatever works with you and God. Like, we all relate with God in a different way. The way I see Him is not the way you see Him. The way He talks to you is not the way He talks to me. Because He's like, if I talk to you this way, you're probably not going to hear. So He has to talk to me in the way that He knows that I'm going to give Him attention and knows that I'm going to hear. Yeah. So for me, I find so much grace in that. Yeah. And that's the same way I want to release it to anyone. Like, don't walk around telling people, oh, you're wrong. I'm right. Like,
don't do that.
What, like how?
He will make an example of you.
You're going to be a fool.
Right?
I think we're just going to round it up there with grace. Yeah. I think just giving yourself grace with transitions, with change, with rest, how that looks like as a young person. Give yourself as much grace, give it to other people too, and in every area of your life. Yes. Maybe in career, in relationships, or in whatever it is, just find God's grace there because it is sufficient for you.
So sufficient.
Yeah. So any last words? 2 seconds.
Bye.
That's so classic.
This has happened to me before. You can't put me on the spot like this. That's another story for another day, but you know this.
Like, bye. So Abigail, I've loved having you here. I have laughed so much. I haven't done this in a while. But then it was
Am I a clown?
No.
Okay, thanks.
You were lovely to talk to.
You're lovely to talk to, Zoe.
I'm so glad that you were able to come and just to spend this time here. Guys, go find this lovely lady on Instagram. But She's amazing. She's gonna
Thanks,
post once in
Coach.
a year. We love her.
I've upgraded to 3 times. Actually, I don't know if I posted this year's yet, but okay. Thank you for the applause. I'll
But
take it.
she's such an inspiration. So go find her wherever you want to find her.
Yeah.
And I loved having you here. Thank
Thanks,
you so
Courage.
much.
Love you.
Bye, guys.